Pride and Prejudice, chapter 6, sixth video. So, Charlotte said it's better to know as little as possible about the person you're going to get married. You make me laugh, Charlotte, but it is not sound. You know it is not sound, that you would never, ever act in this way yourself. What is a sound? Look, I really like sound, okay? So I'm going to digress a little bit here. Of course, sound can be this, sounds good, and etc. But you realize it's not the sound we want here. So, examples and definitions. I put on our Quizlet there. Free from defect, decay or damage, in good condition. For example, is this bridge sound? I think, guys, this shelf here, is, I hope it is pretty sound, right? I don't know if I can say the same thing about those, because they're really thin and I don't think they're so sound. So that's the first meaning I would like you to keep in mind. Free from disease or injury, right? Healthy. You can understand, it's like, right? An extension of the first meaning. Third, marked by or showing common sense and good judgment. Again, the same idea, right? Another way to say that is level-headed. It's a nice word, level-headed. A sound approach to the problem. A sound approach to the problem, just like my shelf. Inside that, a sound conclusion, sound reasoning. Okay, sound reasoning. Next one. Secure or stable. Same idea. A partnership that started on a sound footing. Okay? A sound economy, for example. They gave their rivals a sound thrashing. It's like a complete thrashing in that case. A sound sleep. Very common to say that, a sound sleep. A sound doctrine, right? A doctrine that doesn't contradict itself. We also have the expression safe and sound. Okay? Safe and sound, what is this safe and sound? Safe and sound? No, safe and hard, right? So, but it is not sound. What you're saying is not sound. It is not, I don't know, let's get one of those meaning there. It's not based on valid reasoning, having a logical conclusion, and having no flaws, no defects. Occupied in observing Mr. Bingley's. It's not sound, you know it is not sound, and you would never act like this yourself. Occupied in observing Mr. Bingley's attentions to her sister, Elizabeth was far from suspecting that she was herself becoming an object of some interest in the eyes of his friend, Mr. Darcy, right? Mr. Darcy had at first scarcely allowed her to be pretty. He almost didn't allow her to be pretty. In his opinion, he was there in the line between being pretty and just ordinary, or even, a little bit ugly. He had looked at her without admiration at the ball, and when they next met, he looked at her only to criticize. But no sooner had he made it clear to himself and his friend that she hardly had a good feature in her face, then he began to find it was rendered uncommonly intelligent by the beautiful expression of her dark eyes. First, a very interesting thing, right? The narrator just breaks what is happening there, doesn't open another chapter, breaks what is happening there, and takes us to Mr. Bingley. This last sentence is a little bit different, right? But no sooner had he made it clear to himself and his friend that She hardly had a good feature in her face. Then he began to find it rendered uncommonly intelligent by the beautiful expression of her dark eyes. Render. Render. To become or to cause to become. The news rendered her speechless. So, as soon as, right? No sooner had he made. As soon as he told everybody, no, her face has nothing, nothing in her face is like remarkable, worth remembering. As soon as he did that, he began to find that the face was rendered uncommonly intelligent. The face was made uncommonly intelligent. What made the face uncommonly intelligent? The beautiful expression of her dark eyes. To this discovery, the discovery that she was actually pretty because she had smart eyes and stuff, right? To this discovery, succeeded some other equally mortifying. Though he had detected with a critical eye more than one failure of perfect symmetry in her form, he was forced to acknowledge her figure to be light and pleasing. So remember, of course, the idea of beauty is the idea of symmetry, right? But even though she didn't have, symmetry, like perfect symmetry, her body, right? But she was light and pleasing. And in spite of his assenting that her manners were not those of the fashionable world, he was caught by their easy playfulness. So think about it. Even Mr. Bennet, right? He thinks it's important to to have the manners of the fashionable world. Okay? So that's why we have even though. Even though she didn't have, even though at first he asserted that her manners were not of those fashionable, of the fashionable world, he was caught by their, the manners, right? Easy playfulness. Okay. Of this, she was perfectly unaware. She didn't realize that she had, it wasn't planned that she had easy playfulness. To her, he was only the man who made. Of this, here is of what Mr. Bingley was thinking. Mr. Darcy was thinking about her. Of all this reflection about her eyes, about her manners, about her body, of this she was perfectly unaware. To her, he was only the man who made him agreeable nowhere, and who had not thought her handsome enough to dance with. That was Mr. Darcy for her. He began to wish to know more of her, and as a step towards conversing with her himself, attended to her conversation with others. What does it mean? Attend to her conversations with others. At parties, right? At balls, she would be there talking to others, and keep in mind the dynamic is people come here and go there. They change partners and talk and dance and etc. So he would go there, and she would be talking to somebody else, and he would make himself present there. Let me see. And I stepped towards conversing with her himself, attended to her conversation with others. His doing so drew her notice. She realized that. It was at Sir William Lucas's, where a large party were assembled. "What does Mr. Darcy mean?" she said to Charlotte, "by listening to my conversation with Colonel Forster?" Colonel is interesting, right? Crazy English spelling, right? Very crazy English spelling. You spell it Colonel, and you say colonel, not colonel, or there's no R in the word But that's English spelling. So, what does he want by listening to my conversations, right? Conversation with Colonel Forster. That is a question which Mr. Darcy only can answer. But if he does it anymore, I shall certainly let him know that I see what he is about. Liz is saying. He has a very satirical eye. And if I do not begin by being impertinent myself, I shall soon grow afraid of him. I really like this part, you know. First, because there's this expression, you can grow afraid of a person, so it means that you become more and more afraid. That's nice. But again, Lizzie has a lot of sincerity, and a lot of self-awareness, you know. She's not just attacking the guy, you know. She knows that she is being intimidated, and she already has a plan. Well, I have to do something because I'm becoming more and more afraid of him. So again, sincerity and self-awareness. On his approaching them soon afterwards, though without seeming to have any intention of speaking, Miss Lucas defied her friend to mention such a subject to him, which immediately provoking Elizabeth to do it, she turned to him and said, should I explain that? Sometimes I stop and I think just a little, right? On his approaching them soon afterwards, though without seeming to have any intention of speaking, so basically he would do what he had done before, right? He would just go there and be close to them. Keep in mind that that was not creepy, you know. I don't know, nowadays, I don't know, I am not a specialist in parties and etc., but no, I think even nowadays, sorry, because I don't, you know, like you are at a party, everybody knows one another, right? So you are talking to your friend and suddenly comes another friend that is not in the conversation and just stops there and listen to you guys. Maybe the person will be included in the conversation, maybe will not. Maybe you don't know the guy so much. So that is the idea here, right? He's not being creepy or anything, right? That's pretty normal. So he was going there with the intention of not speaking. He didn't have any intention of speaking. Miss Lucas defied her friend. It's like dare. So I dare you to mention what you told me about him listening to your talk. Which immediately provoking Elizabeth to do, she turned to him and said, "Did you not think, Mr. Darcy, that I expressed myself uncommonly well just now when I was teasing Colonel Forster to give us a ball at Meryton? So I know you were listening to my talk, and so tell me if you were paying attention to me." You know, with great energy, he answered. But it is always a subject which make a lady energetic. You are severe on us, Lizzie said. It will be her turn soon to be teased, said Miss Lucas. I am going to open the instrument, Eliza, and you know what follows. So, Charlotte just changed the subject here. Keep in mind, teasing, right? She was trying to provoke the guy to give a ball, and now Eliza will provoke Charlotte will provoke Lizzie into playing something. You are a very strange creature by a way of friend, Lizzie is saying now. Always wanting me to play and sing before anybody and everybody. Before is in front of, okay? Not before, you know, temporally speaking. Always wanting me to play in front of anybody and everybody. I believe another video will be necessary.